All right, y'all. The beef with Claressa Shields and Laila Ali has just been reignited again. So, Laila Ali released a video today on her on her YouTube channel, Laila Ali OK. It's called "Let's Let the Record Show" Part One. So she's addressing Claressa Shields over all the things that was said, over the years, about her from Claressa Shields. All right, so she writes in the caption, a description under the video saying, this is in response to ongoing lies and harassment, false narrative created by Claressa Shields, a 30-year-old professional boxer who is a two-time Olympic gold medalist, and current title holder in multiple weight divisions. Since 2018, Claressa has repeatedly used Laila Ali's name to gain visibility and build her public persona. Her obsession with being is seen as a better fighter than Laila Ali stems from her desire to be viewed as the greatest female boxer of all times. Shields has even drawn constant comparisons between herself and Muhammad Ali's Layla's Ali father, referring to herself to be self-proclaimed GWOAT. That's what she calls herself, the greatest woman of all times. All right, so we got to get into this video. So this is part one that she released. So we got to get into this, man. All right, make sure y'all smash that like button. Let's get into it.
There has been a whole lot of talk about the possibility of me making a comeback to boxing. And people have had a lot to say, but I have not addressed it until now. And I know everyone wants to know the answer to the question, will I be coming back? And I promise you, I'm going to give you that answer. But first, I have got to address the lies and the fake narrative that's been created years ago. Now, someone's gotten way too comfortable dragging my name and even using my father's name to get attention and clout. Now, in case you haven't heard it, her story is that I didn't support her and I didn't pass the torch because of my jealousy and envy over her accomplishments in boxing. She says that I disrespected her and I started talking about knocking her out simply because I was bitter that she's outdone me. I've seen a lot of the comments. Many of you have good discernment and understand what's really going on here, while others have believed her lies over the years or have formed an opinion without having all the facts. Now, originally, I wasn't even going to give this my time or attention because I really don't engage with people who thrive off of negativity, drama, and buffoonery. But I'm not about to let someone with bad character continue running freely, dragging my name without accountability.
That's not gonna happen.
All right, so hopefully this is still, hopefully her coming out and doing this is leading up to a fight, because no matter what, people still want to see this fight go down. So hopefully that's what this is leading up to. So let's get into it, because it's a lot to cover.
Come on now, listen. Laila Ali is just Muhammad Ali's daughter. And
No, come on, we ain't gonna do that.
no, that is
Come
right.
on, come on, Layla can rumble though.
Ann Wolfe would have knocked Laila Ali out. You know, she would have knocked Laila so pretty ass out.
So this right here is the consequence. Now, I have been busy working on other projects that required all of my time and focus, which is why I'm just now saying something. But honey, I have made the time to address this. So today, the bad guy ain't getting away. Now let's hit rewind because we really need to see what's happened over the years, what got us here. Now, I'm not about to do the whole he say, she say thing, so let me show you some receipts.
Oh,
I first met her in 2012 when she was invited on stage to stand next to me when I gave my father his Liberty Medal. At some point, she reached out, started asking me for advice, wanted to know if she should go to the Olympics the second time or go pro.
Yeah, this when she was just starting out. You can see before she started getting that bread. You can see how she looked before she started getting that bread.
She would also call me and let me know when she was fighting. Now, at the time, I was one of the hosts of We Need to Talk, an all-female sports commentary show that still airs on CBS. I asked the producers if we could do a story on her. They agreed. So I got on a plane, flew to Colorado, and did a full sit-down interview with her. Now, this is just a shortened version of the 6-minute piece that aired on CBS in 2016.
She embraced her, man, when she first starting off.
21-year-old Claressa Shields is as confident as her right hand is powerful. Soon, Claressa will be heading to Rio for the Olympics to try and do something that has never been done before. I sat down to talk with her about changing history and being a positive spark for her hometown. You should have heard the story by now. The one about a kid from Flint, Michigan, who has gone toe-to-toe with adversity and stands undefeated.
But I'll always go back to Flint and help
I know that when I was fighting, with any of my struggles that I had to overcome, or anything that I was upset about, whether it be something personal or something going on in the world, I would use that anger, and take it into the ring with me and channel that energy into the ring. Have you ever done that?
I did that a lot. I was going through stuff back at home, but I would have a boxing match, and I would take out everything I was going through on the girl, and that kind of helped me because after I boxed, that was my ultimate high, and I felt like my life was perfect for at least 2 weeks. So
Clarissa's father,
Now you gotta Layla Ali started off supporting Claressa. You know what I mean? She embraced her as a young up and coming fighter. She got behind her, embraced her. She thought her story is interesting, so she flew out to get the interview and all that. So it started out good, but I guess further along as Claressa started moving up through the ranks and she started getting better, she started, winning fights. And when you the best, you're gonna call out the best. When you feel like you're the best, you're gonna want to call out the best. And but I guess Laila Ali, you know, feel like Claressa took it too far by the things she was saying. So let's get into
former
it.
underground fighter, was passionate about boxing.
he went on to tell me that Muhammad Ali's daughter, Layla, took after him. And he's like, and my dad, he says it to this day, Layla's a bad girl. He says all the time. He said, nobody in our family took up boxing. I thought when he told me that, he was telling me to take after him.
Claressa beat the odds to win gold in 2012. When the Olympics start in August, she'll try to be the first American boxer to win back-to-back gold medals. Everybody's gonna be fighting you harder. Everybody's gonna be trying to elevate their game. They're gonna be running harder, they're gonna be training harder, they're gonna be dreaming about beating you. How are you preparing for that mentally and physically?
Honestly, I learned how to beat every fighting style. Tall girls, short girls, girls my size. Because I'm like, I'm pretty good, I'm pretty great, I don't know what
You're
I would
supposed to
do.
feel that way about yourself.
Yeah,
Like
I
you wouldn't have been able to get to this level if you didn't feel that way about yourself.
Yes.
I don't know about you ladies, but I have absolutely no doubt that Clarissa's going to win gold again in the Olympics. Women's boxing wasn't even in the Olympics when I was boxing, so
Right.
I'm like, do it for us, because she's in the weight class I would have been in. So I'm like, go get it, girl, go get it. There's a lot of women who've been training for a long time, and nobody knows who they are. So the Olympics just really gives them a platform and something to strive towards. I didn't even fight amateur because I was like, I can't go to the Olympics, so why should I do that? I want to be in control of my career. But it's so great to see these young girls coming up. You got 9-year-olds now and 10-year-olds, and they're inspired by people like Claressa. Now, as you can see, I was genuinely rooting for her. I gave her praise. I gave her
Yeah,
the
she
spotlight.
definitely did.
When she asked for advice, I gave her valuable branding advice and boxing advice so she could have long-term success in and outside of the ring. I told her about the challenges that I faced fighting at 168, where there was limited competition, and I suggested that if she decided to turn pro, she should consider going down in weight, somewhere around 148, where she would have more competitive challenges. I told her she should hire a nutritionist, trim off that excess body fat, and get into elite next level shape. I pointed her in the right direction, and I had high hopes for her. Whether she decided to turn pro or not, I felt like her future was bright if she played her cards right. But of course,
And she did. She played her cards right because right now she's number one. So she definitely, took heed to, the jewels that Layla Ali dropped to her because she moved up to the ranks pretty fast too. So she definitely listened, but hey, she called you out. She want you to step in that ring, ma'am.
time, I was not aware of her divisive, vindictive, and malicious nature. And I
Damn.
know those are strong words, but they actually fit. This girl has created a pattern. It's been directed towards many people time and time again. Now, before we started our interview in Colorado, she said to me, "You're the name people say when it comes to women's boxing. You're the face they know. I want that to be me." Now, looking back after everything that's unfolded, it seems pretty calculated now. Like she was waiting for the right moment, the right excuse to finally do what she'd already made up her mind to do. I mean, that's how it feels now. She told me she saw me as the face of women's boxing, and she told me that she wanted my spot. And she's been on a mission to ruin my reputation ever since, simply because she heard me make a comment that was not about her and she took it personal. Fast forward to 2018, I was promoting my cookbook, Food for Life, and went on The Breakfast Club, a national show with millions of listeners. I did a
remember that.
36-minute interview, and when the topic of boxing came up, I actually mentioned her and made positive comments. Then much later into the interview, I was asked about the possibility of a comeback.
You ever get back in the ring just for fun? You still train?
I stay training.
Got you.
Yeah, I got a little baby six-pack right now. Okay. Yeah. No, I have a heavy bag hanging in my. I just turned 40.
Wow.
Can you believe it?
No.
I know. I just turned 40. I can't believe it either. And because I think of my healthy lifestyle, the fact that I train all the time, I can pretty much do anything I wanted to.
Yeah,
I don't think there's
pretty
anyone
much
there for
good
me
shape.
right now that would actually give me a good challenge.
How did you and your husband argue? Because he can't, usually they say,
She definitely stay in tip top shape because I follow, we follow her page on, and she's always, talking about, staying fit and eating healthy, eating organic, and she be selling her spices, her organic seasonings, and all that. So she definitely be staying up on her health, and she look good for her age, man. I mean, she's still like she can get in that ring and do her thing. You know what I mean? Let me know what y'all think in the comments below.
You can say something slick, but with you can't say that slickness.
You was on the Food Network Chopped.
Yes.
And you won.
I did a couple times.
So what brings you more joy, winning in the ring or winning in the kitchen?
I just like to win, period. Definitely boxing is my first love, and cooking is something that I'm super passionate about.
Gotcha.
It'll be a part of my life forever. I'm not somebody who sits back and complains about things. I think everything happens in due time. You got Claressa Shields now, who's an Olympic champion. She's a young black girl, came out of Flint, Michigan, lived a hard life, went through a lot. She went to the Olympics, won twice. Women's boxing wasn't in the Olympics when I fought. She actually fights at the weight class I fought in. And she's doing great. Women's boxing is getting some good attention. Now remember, at the time, we were on good terms. She was reaching out to me and referring to me as Big Sis. But this was her response.
I watched the Breakfast Club video with Laila Ali. I have so much respect for her, and I like her. I actually call her my big sis, but it was so many shots thrown. Like, if I really paid attention, her saying, oh, there's not nobody good enough at 168, my weight class, that could give her a challenge when I'm the number one in my weight class. And, I'm just like, nah. And, I just feel like, she gave props where it's due, but, she also spoke on how, what I'm doing for women's boxing is great, but it's not great enough for her. When it's like, we got two different goals and sets in life.
Hold on, I didn't hear her say all that. Yeah, I mean, she was bigging you up. Actually, she really was bigging you up, Claressa. I didn't hear her say all that. I mean, but I understand what the mission is. You know what I mean? She got the #1 spot. She's the face of women's boxing, and you want to replace that. So I understand why you would take this route, but let's keep going.
Me winning 2 Olympic gold medals is just the beginning. Even when she was boxing, she never fought on Showtime, HBO. I fought the main event on Showtime. I don't know how many times now. Fastest woman to win a world title. I did it in 4 fights. You can say, oh, the competition isn't there, and this girl wasn't that. But like I said, I did it up in 4 fights, and the girls that Laila Ali fought wasn't that great either. I mean, like, I'm the best female boxer that I've ever seen, and if Laila Ali wants to come back, we can rumble, we can go. This is not like, oh, I'm going to step away. Like I respect her and everything, but you're not going to come back and beat me. You know what I'm saying? Like, this can happen. I just don't like the disrespect. And this is my last video too about this. I never used her name to try to be like, try to call her out of retirement. It's basically like, she's talking about she can my retirement. She just gonna beat me if she decided to.
Now, of course, I didn't respond to this, but I noted it. For someone who hardly had any experience as a professional boxer and was supposedly looking up to me, for her to think that I would even call her name in a conversation about me fighting or making a comeback was silly to me. Especially since I had literally told her that I retired from boxing because I didn't feel inspired or challenged anymore by the level of competition that was available to me. We had that talk. So I learned a lot about her character and her mindset. She took what I said out of context and made it all about her. I decided I was no longer going to invest time or energy into her. But she, on the other hand, she took it straight to social media, started comparing her boxing skills to mine, making negative comments about me, and pitting herself against me in a fight. A year later, I was doing press for my show Homemade Simple on OWN, so I went on Sway Universe, another syndicated national show with millions of listeners.
I remember that.
We were talking, he asked me about boxing, he asked me about her, I said positive comments as usual, then he plays one of her visits.
Are you watching women's boxing today?
Oh yeah.
You like Claressa?
I do. I think that she's a talented fighter, and she has the opportunity right now. The stage is set, so now she just has to kind of do her thing.
Talk about Homemade Simple, airing Saturdays 9 a.m. on the OWN network. Okay, it's an incredible show. I had Claressa here, right? I asked her who does she think would win and you against you in your prime and her now. And this is what she said.
She's not cut like me. She don't take the challenges. Like, she didn't fight against Ann Wolfe. I fight against the best and beat the best. And if Laila Ali was to come out of retirement, I beat her too.
That's not anything I haven't heard before. First of all, she's supposed to feel like she's a great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was about to say that she's a fighter. She's a competitor. She's supposed to feel like she's the best and gonna beat the best. So, I mean, ain't really nothing there to look at,
But just because you think you are doesn't mean you are.
Okay.
I like to support and uplift people, and I think that on your way up, just do your best not to disparage those that have come before you. First of all, she could never beat me.
Okay.
Let me just get that straight.
Let's
get that straight right now. And not simply because she's not strong enough, because I would definitely knock her out, but because she's not talented enough to beat me. The sweet science to boxing, the reason why you have not been able to knock out the opponents that you've already faced, I can totally see it. Why? But maybe if you would have been a little more respectful, and I'm not talking about thinking you can beat me and call that, do all that. I'm talking about just trying to, she didn't do this, she didn't do that. Yeah. I don't respect her as a boxer. I only respect her as a businesswoman. I've heard her say that before. I was always there for her because she's a young black girl from Flint, Michigan. Yeah, and I want to help uplift her because that's the Ali way. I am successful in so many areas outside of boxing. Boxing is not what defines me. There's always going to be another girl. But I tell you what, when I offered her to spar me, that definitely was a check right there to see. Let me see what kind of heart she has. you should come whoop me just for bragging rights.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't take me up on that offer. I said, okay. And let's put this in context. I'm only talking about this because you're asking me. She's done a ton of interviews since then, and she's always saying I disrespected her. Now you've seen what she's been referring to. So she felt justified to go on a tirade. And of course, she's twisted the story over the years and taken my comments out of context. Now, according to her, I just started talking about knocking her out just out of jealousy. Now you've seen what I said, what she said, how this started, and you can see she pitted herself against me in a fight. Now I know some of this younger generation may not be familiar with me, but I've never been one to just talk about things I can't do. When I said that I would knock her out back in 2019, it wasn't any different than what I've said to anyone who's challenged me in the past.
Right,
You can go back and look at tape on me.
Yeah, Ali. Yeah, she's Ali's daughter. Of course, she gonna rebuttal anything. She's Ali's daughter. She gonna talk that trash like her dad used to talk. You know what I mean? Talk that job. You know what I mean? I had to take it back real quick. Talk that job. Yeah, I mean, she's a true competitor, man. She's gonna, anybody that's trying to challenge her, she's gonna definitely, respond and rebuttal that. I definitely want to see this fight, and I hope this is gearing up for the fight, y'all. I think this is gonna hype up, the anticipation for the fight. That lot of money involved, 15, $20 million, possibly $25 million. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully this, that anticipation, man.
That was not just talk for me. It's what I did. TKO, KO, it didn't matter. I was going to stop you. It wasn't going to a decision. And if you didn't belong in there with me, I was going to get you out of there. That's just facts. That's not disrespect. That's boxing talk. Back then in 2020, I did get to a point where I was ready to get back in the ring and show her why. Even though she is talented, I said it back then and I'm saying it now, but she could never outbox me. High-level promoters did reach out to me directly, and we had some serious conversations about me making a comeback. Now, of course, she was never even involved in any of those discussions. Then COVID happened. You know how that was, and it all went away, and I left it alone. Now, here is just a small glimpse of the narrative that she's been building over the years.
But I feel like Laila Ali has always been kind of envious of me. I'm just so accomplished in women's boxing, and she never got that due diligence and that respect. So to see me getting it kind of pisses her off. So you look at who she fought. Her biggest test was freaking Vonda Ward and Christy Martin, and Christy Martin weighed in at 140 pounds, and Laila Ali was 160. Like, how are you making matches like that? So Laila Ali is a hater. That's it. Nothing but her being a hater and her being, envious of my success and what I've done for women's boxing. And
I understand why Claressa would say she's a hater, because she want her to come back so she can fight, Laila Ali and get that #1 spot and the recognition for beating Muhammad Ali's daughter. So I understand Claressa's mindset. But I guess Laila wasn't feeling the way she was going about doing it. But she's trying to force her up out of retirement so she can, rumble. So that's how I'm looking at it.
she feels like she deserves that credit because everybody kind of give it to me now. Like, and I think that she's like, but I'm Ali's daughter and I boxed before her, and I'm 24-0, 21 knockouts, and she kind of, want people to keep acknowledging her. She's retired.
She's retired.
And
She's
been
probably
retired for a long time. 43. I hate when somebody else try to take somebody else shine, somebody else attention. It's like she's, nobody was trying to take her attention when it was her time. Undisputed champion. She's never been undisputed, and people are comparing me to her, and she gets offended. When it was like, to me, I thought it was a good comparison because I feel like I box way better than her, and for them to be saying that me and her are equal or whatever, she should have been happy because of that, because they're giving her more props on her skills, which I feel like she didn't really have that much. But whatever. Yeah, we had Laila Ali. Respect. But she can't do for women's boxing what I'm doing. I'm gonna be different because I'm gonna give my blessing, or I'm gonna let a girl take her blessing. And what that means, I'm gonna fight the girls coming up, and if they beat me, now they're the best. That's how you do it. My advice to Laila is you will look a lot better, and people will stop calling you a hater and calling you jealous and old and bitter. If you actually stop hating, bro, you will look better if you was to support the black girl from Flint who made it out the trenches to where she at now. You will look a lot better. She wants to try to make it still seem like she...
Hold on, but she did support you starting off. She did support Claressa starting off. She really did. But, I guess that competitive nature of Claressa Shields wanting to be the best and got to beat the best kind of, as she was moving up the ranks, she started getting more and more confident, more and more, cocky about it, and she want that fight. So I understand, that mindset as well. So
She's somewhat relevant in women's boxing. When people give her props about how she built up women's boxing, and I just don't feel the same way. What really did you do for women's boxing? Like, you let it die. You let it die for 20 years, and then I had to come and put in all this extra work to get it to where it is now. I think that wasn't fair, and I don't think that she was as big as a pioneer in women's boxing as she thinks she was. Because I would never do that. I would pass the torch.
There are hundreds and hundreds of women who have participated in the sport of boxing over the years. They have all made a contribution in their own way. We don't need to argue over who's done more. That destructive crab in a barrel mentality is exactly what we don't need in the sport. Here she is on a recent podcast explaining how she's passing the torch and that she has created a blueprint for success, which she is now sharing with other female fighters. She says that the number one thing they need to know is how to build their brand.
I actually promote a woman fighter, and I'm giving her all the jewels and stuff that I know, so she can get her big paydays too. It's a blueprint now on how you make $1 million, even if you don't have the gold medals. The biggest blueprint is build your brand.
Oh, she must have forgot years ago she recorded this and said that I gave her the piece of advice that she's now referring to as the most valuable piece of information that you need to be successful. But supposedly I didn't support her and I didn't want to pass the torch.
Laila Ali told me to build my brand, a good brand, and a brand that I want to represent and stand for. And she said, have good people behind me who I trust.
So this whole idea that she started about me being jealous because of her accolades and her surpassing me, do you realize that for years, fans have believed that there's so many fighters that are better than me? I mean, they have more titles than me, multi-million-dollar fights are happening, more money than I ever made, more money than she's making. So I guess if I'm supposedly jealous of her, I must be hating on them too, right? Nope, I actually celebrate other women's success. I have relationships with those women. We have mutual respect. It's all love. She's the only.
Yeah, Laila Ali doesn't strike me as a hater. She doesn't. She don't strike me as a hater because she's successful. You know what I mean, she's been successful at boxing as well, so she don't really give me that hater vibe. You know what I mean?
One who decided to make herself my opposition. And she has created this drama and she's kept it going for the past 8 years. People came to know her because she kept calling out my name. She's obsessed with me and she literally cannot keep the name Laila Ali out her mouth. There are people who will say, she's confident, she talks trash. That's what fighters do. Yes, fighters talk. Nobody did it better than my father and me, and we backed it up. I've never had a problem with the fighter saying they could beat me or that they think they're better than me. That's expected. I don't consider that disrespect. But what I do have a problem with is a liar or someone who intentionally tries to disparage me in order to gain visibility and respect. As I mentioned in my interview on Sway, about 8 years ago, I offered her sparring during one of our phone conversations. I was like 40, 41. It was just to give her some work. Well, she changed that subject and never took me up on the sparring. So when I mentioned it on Sway, there was a lot of comments from the public because people were surprised that she wouldn't have taken that opportunity. Now, can you imagine if she and I were to get in the ring and spar back then? You know, there would have been camera phones, it would have been recorded. She would have proof of what she could do and vice versa. So I guess after the feedback and comments that she saw, she felt the need to take it to social media and put out an excuse.
Sway that if I was so tough that I would aspire her for brownie points. I am a 2-time Olympic champ. Only thing that matters to me is what happened outside of practice. She talked about practice.
She had with the AI.
I don't care about sparring nobody. I'll get in there and spar and work with anybody. All I care about is fighting. But like I said, she don't really care about these boxing.
So that was her response. Why sparring? It doesn't mean anything. But many years later, she comes up with.
Yeah, she should have took up on that offer and sparred her real quick just to see where, where her where her skills is at as far as versing Laila Ali and her power. She should have took that little sparring match real quick. You know what I mean?
A whole new story.
And the thing is, she keeps saying, one time she asked me to spar. Let me tell you this. Jason Crutchfield was my eyes and my ears back then because I was naive. I don't pay attention to stuff. Jason had already told me back then she feels some type of way. Coming in, gold medals and doing your thing, she feels some type of way. But she's still embracing you though. And I said, okay, whatever. But I had mad love for her though. So it was like, the closest thing to Muhammad Ali is Laila Ali. So I love this girl, you know what I'm saying? And looking to her, took her advice and everything. He said, when we going down here, because she had appointed me to give Muhammad Ali the Liberty Medal in Philadelphia. Now that when she asked me to spar, I said, you want to spar me? And that's when it was more of like a, dang, I hate that coach was right about you. I'm like, okay, well, we can spar when you want to spar. I got my stuff in the car. She like, no, it ain't like that. I'm more about, let's not talk about it, let's be about it.
Now, you know that was a flat out lie. We know that if that were true, she would have said it years ago when it first was mentioned that she wouldn't spar me. There is absolutely no way she would have passed up the chance to tell everyone that she called my bluff and I backed down. Now, can you imagine if she and I were to get in the ring and spar back then? You know, there would have been camera phones, it would have been recorded.
Yeah, right.
She would have proof of what she could do and vice versa. I did an interview with Andre for his podcast too, before I had a chance to see her episode. And if you go watch her interview, everything's I think this, somebody told me that, no facts. I need you to understand how deep this goes with this girl. Now I know she's on a constant search for validation. She needs to feel important, and it's obvious she's fixated on me. But watch how she sits on The Breakfast Club, the same show she saw me on back in 2018 when I said I wasn't making a comeback. She goes on in 2020 after dragging my name for years and acts like she has no idea why I no longer support her or want anything to do with her. Now she knows The Breakfast Club is a national show with millions of listeners, so she's careful not to say anything negative about me because that wouldn't fit the story she's trying to sell. Instead, she plays it safe so she can position herself as the victim.
Do I want to fight a 41 or 40-year-old Laila Ali? No. I want to actually her embrace me, I embrace her, and we build women's boxing to the place where it's supposed to be at. But I don't think she sees that vision. Like she doesn't show me any kind of support. Like I see her all the time comment on this other boxer girl page, Katie Taylor, and always telling her congrats and everything. But then with me, it's like she don't show any kind of respect or acknowledgement. And I'm a black girl just like she is, who came apart, and I have to been making my way forever. Like I made my own way. I wasn't handed anything. Just about supporting each other. You know what I'm saying? But
I wonder why she wouldn't though. Like, did you say something about her back in the day?
I just think that in boxing, she feel like she never got her fair share. I feel like she never got to the point where she wanted to get to. And people recognize Laila Ali, but they always try to say like, oh, she only was big because of her dad, and they don't really give her props on her skills. I'm not one of those people.
Nah, I don't think she's big because of her dad. That's like a small smidget part of it, but she fought her way, up the ranks. She was getting in there and beating bitches up. You know what I mean? She was doing her thing. So, you can't take that away from her just because she's Muhammad Ali's daughter. I mean, she can really fight though. We've seen it over the years. We've seen her get in there and do her thing. So
And then some people say that she didn't fight Ann Wolfe, but me being a woman fighter, now I realize that it's hard to make big fights with other big women. It really is. So think about it. Back then, when it wasn't a lot of money, wasn't TV exposure, I kind of can see why her and Ann Wolfe didn't fight. But people's story is that she was scared of Ann Wolfe, and Ann Wolfe would have knocked her out. And that's their story.
3 months later, she takes her mask off and she's back to her usual story.
Well, Ann Wolfe, you were a better fighter than her. And I believe that that's where this whole beef started from. That, I spoke on that. She hate whenever your name gets mentioned. She still to this day mentions your name. Say how you were scared of her, how you didn't want to fight her. And I don't believe that for 1 second. And she may have a bigger name, but that's because women's boxing wasn't supported how we are now. If Laila Ali came up in this generation, she would not be known. Nobody would know of her. I know for a fact you would have put Laila Ali ass to sleep. So just because you can do it, you didn't have the opportunity because, she didn't want to sign a paper to fight you. I'm letting you know now. I'm going to kick her ass for the both of us. Yeah, we all know Laila Dudley, Ann Wolfe. We know that. We don't got to, she know that. Everybody know that. It's literally written, I think, somewhere.
Now, I've seen this before with Ann Wolfe, another fighter who used the same playbook. Both of these women have a lot in common in terms of the way they've been able to get visibility for themselves by using my name and making up lies. Since I'm in the season of pulling skirts, I'm gonna go ahead and pull hers too. And I'm gonna do another video on her next. That lie that I would not fight her has been told so many times as if it's a true fact. So I'll be gathering my receipts on her too, since she wants to start talking again. This one is so detached and delusional that she...
Yeah, Ann Wolfe was tough though. She was definitely tough. I mean, she's a little older than Laila Ali, but she was tough, bro. So I mean, that 165 weight class, 165, 169, even right around that weight class, yeah, she would have gave Ali a run for her money. I mean, she definitely would have. So I ain't gonna take that away from Ann Wolfe, because she was fighting. She was tough with it.
Actually praises my father while trying to trash his daughter.
Yeah, we had Laila Ali, but she can't do for women's boxing what I'm doing. Because I kind of feel like God wants me to be like the next Muhammad Ali. Because I kind of feel like God wants me to be like the next Muhammad Ali. I think it's Muhammad Ali, Floyd Mayweather, me. That's it. Learn from Muhammad Ali. If you don't validate yourself first, nobody else ever will. She wants to be like in the public and keep her name tied to mine because I'm young and popping. Right now, it's my time. And she wants to keep her name connected to mine. Listen, Muhammad Ali would never. Her daddy would never. Her daddy would never. Maybe she don't have that in her genes.
Now, what father would embrace someone like her or want to be associated with someone like her while she's trying to tear down his very own child? My father was the greatest of all time because not only did he have a beautiful, one-of-a-kind style in the ring, he was also a remarkable individual outside of it. He used his platform to uplift and inspire people. He carried himself with integrity, kindness, and grace. He was someone our community could be proud of, and he represented us well. You know what my father would say? She's a generic wannabe. My father would not want to share his name or image with her. She does not represent anything about him in the ring or outside the ring. Now, many of us, including myself, had high hopes for her. I supported her. I sent her off in the right direction, but she has become a disappointment. She is a horrible representation of both the sport and our culture.
Beneficial. Fuck them if they win against you. You don't need some bitches with you. Her man ain't got no balls, so you know he's big little. Knock them fake hoes, do it for the real women. I ain't fucked this nigga 2 years, still bitching. Girls who think they just so pretty, and just because they born light skin that they just all that. That they can come up with shit talking shit. I look better than you. I look better than you, so you can get off my shit. Light skin, red bone. Yeah, get your funny looking ass up out of here. I don't play with these hoes.
You have a clear picture of what our relationship was and what exactly happened in the past that led to today. Now, do you believe I'm jealous of her accomplishments? So in part 2, I'm going to discuss that $15 million offer and finally answer the question everyone wants to know. Will I be coming back to boxing to get that knockout?
That's the
If you want to know when
million
part
dollar
2
question.
drops, turn on your notifications.
Well, that's the $15 million question. Is she coming back? Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think. Laila Ali coming back. Do you think she could beat Claressa Shields? Do you think Claressa Shields will beat her? Let me know in the comments what y'all think. Who y'all got? If she was to come back, who y'all got your money on? Claressa Shields or Laila Ali? I feel like Claressa Shields got it now. I feel like she will beat Laila Ali because she's younger, she's stronger. I ain't gonna say necessarily she got better skills than Laila Ali, but she's younger, she's stronger, and I mean this is her time now. I don't think it's gonna be an easy fight for Claressa Shields because Laila Ali is so skillful at what she do, but it's not. Yeah, I mean everybody want to see it, so that's the question. She gonna come back? Hopefully, her doing these series on Claressa Shields is leading up to them signing that contract and getting that making that fight happen. But I think Laila Ali want to get the most out of it. You know what I mean? Far as the purse, she want to get the most out of it because it was 15 mil on the table. Her mindset is if you got 15 million, then you got 20, you got 25 million. So it depends on the anticipation of people wanting to see this fight. So her doing this series is definitely going to build some type of anticipation for the leading up to people wanting to see the fight. So hopefully Claressa Shields do her part as far as hey man, keep talking your trash. You know what I mean? Talk your trash because we want to see this fight, man. And on that note, man, I'm about to get up out of here. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
If you crave nature but still shop online, Night and Day Herbals is your dream come true. Discover premium herbal soaps, shampoos, and CBD products. All organic, all for you. Shop now at nightandayherbals.com.